Have you ever wondered why someone with an avoidant attachment style, someone who pulls away, who hides behind distance, who acts like they don't need anyone, still keeps you around? Let me tell you something powerful. Avoidants may never openly admit it, but their actions always reveal the truth. If an avoidant does this one thing, it means they are silently grateful to have you in their life. Avoidants are often misunderstood because they don't express emotions the way most people do. Where a secure person might openly say, "I appreciate you," or "thank you for being here," an avoidant usually chooses silence, distance, or subtle actions that can easily be overlooked. The truth is, when you look beyond the surface, their gratitude doesn't vanish. It just takes a different form. They hide behind protective walls, but even within those walls, their actions reveal more than their words ever will. An avoidant feels safest when they don't have to articulate emotions directly, because that level of vulnerability terrifies them. So instead of verbal acknowledgement, they might do something small but meaningful. Check in on you after a long silence, give you space when you need it, or unexpectedly show up when you least expect them to. These subtle shifts are their quiet ways of saying, "I see you, I value you, and I don't want to lose you." This difference in communication can be deeply frustrating for someone who craves verbal affirmation. You might feel like they don't care because they aren't saying the words you want to hear. But an avoidant's entire survival system is built on protecting themselves from dependency. So if they are breaking even a tiny part of that pattern for you, it's not a small gesture, it's monumental. For instance, if someone who normally withdraws chooses to stay during a difficult moment, it means they're silently grateful for your presence. They don't stay out of obligation. They stay because deep inside they know your role in their life is irreplaceable. Their actions speak a language of gratitude that is quiet but incredibly powerful if you learn how to read it. The irony is, avoidants often feel gratitude more intensely than they let on because they know how hard it is for them to trust anyone. They are acutely aware of how difficult they can be to love, how often they push people away, and how rare it is to find someone patient enough to stay. So when you remain consistent, when you offer understanding instead of judgment, their walls begin to crack. And that crack doesn't just symbolize comfort, it symbolizes appreciation. The act of not running away, of not shutting the door on you, is their version of saying, "Thank you for not giving up on me." That gratitude may be silent, but it is real, and it sits in their heart every time they allow you closer. It's important to realize that actions sometimes carry more weight than words. Anyone can say thank you, but for an avoidant to act against their nature, to lean in instead of pulling away, to show up instead of disappearing, that is gratitude in its rawest form. It is their love language, though they may never admit it out loud. Understanding this can help you stop chasing words and start recognizing patterns. You'll begin to see that their quiet actions, though small on the surface, are in fact the deepest acknowledgements of how much they silently value you. Subtle changes are everything when it comes to an avoidant personality. They are not the type to make grand declarations of love or shower you with words of appreciation. Instead, their gratitude sneaks into the relationship through the smallest shifts in their behavior. One of the clearest signs that an avoidant is silently grateful for you is when they start replying faster than they normally would. For someone who often distances themselves or takes hours, sometimes days, to respond, a quicker reply means you are different. It shows that you hold a place in their priority list, even if they cannot openly say it. It's their way of quietly acknowledging, "You matter enough for me to adjust my natural pattern of avoidance." These subtle shifts are easy to miss, but they carry deep meaning when you know how to read them. Another key sign is when they choose presence over absence. Avoidants typically retreat into solitude when life gets heavy because that is their comfort zone. But if you notice they decide to stay around you during tough times rather than disappearing, that is silent gratitude. It means they see you as a source of safety, a space where they don't have to carry the weight of pretending to be strong all the time. Their decision to stay close isn't random. It's their way of showing appreciation for the emotional stability you bring into their life. They may not say the words, but the very act of staying is their unspoken thank you. Subtle gratitude also appears in the way they make time. An avoidant usually guards their independence fiercely, preferring to protect their routines and personal space. But when they begin to carve out time to be with you, even if it's small moments like sharing a meal, walking together, or checking in, it's not casual. It's an intentional break from their habits to make room for you. That shift in effort shows you're not just another person in their world. You are someone who has earned a place in their tightly controlled life. That act itself is a powerful expression of their gratitude. Many people misunderstand avoidance, thinking they are cold or unfeeling, but the truth is they express emotions in a language that is quiet and reserved. Their gratitude won't come in the form of flowers, love letters, or endless conversations about feelings. It comes in consistency, in small adjustments, in the rare decision to prioritize you over their fear of intimacy. These subtle actions are the avoidance way of saying, I appreciate you for seeing me, for accepting me, and for staying even when I push you away. So if you notice quicker responses, moments of presence, or effort that seems uncharacteristic for them, don't underestimate it. These are not small gestures. They are monumental breakthroughs for someone who is used to keeping people at arm's length. Their silence might leave you questioning, but their subtle actions tell the real story. Deep down, they are grateful to have you in their life, and those shifts in behavior are their quiet confessions of appreciation. Trust is the rarest and most valuable gift an avoidant can ever give, and when they offer it, it is their clearest form of silent gratitude. Avoidants are not naturally inclined to trust because their entire attachment style is built on self-protection. They often believe that depending on someone is a weakness, and letting another person in feels like handing over the keys to their greatest vulnerabilities. That's why when you notice an avoidant beginning to trust you, even in small, almost invisible ways, it is not just a sign of progress in the relationship, it is also their way of expressing deep appreciation for the safety you've provided. They may never say, I trust you, or thank you for being reliable, but their behavior will reveal it. And for an avoidant, that is louder than words. Trust from an avoidant shows up when they start sharing things they normally keep hidden. It could be opening up about their childhood, admitting their fears, or revealing insecurities they usually bury behind a wall of confidence and independence. This doesn't happen often, and when it does, it's not random. It is a sign that they feel grateful for your presence in their life, because without gratitude, there is no reason for them to risk exposure. You've created a space where they feel safe enough to let their guard down, and that safety is not taken lightly. It means you've earned something they rarely give, which is trust. Another subtle sign of trust is reliability. Avoidants usually rely only on themselves, convinced that others will eventually disappoint them. But when they start leaning on you, even in small matters, asking for your opinion, depending on you for help, or allowing you to take care of them when they're not at their best, it signals gratitude in its purest form. To them, letting someone in is dangerous, but if they are willing to risk depending on you, it's because they recognize your value and feel silently thankful that you haven't betrayed their faith. This trust also appears in consistency. Many avoidants are known for disappearing when emotions get too intense, But if they begin to show up for you consistently, even when it's uncomfortable, it's because they've decided that keeping you in their life is worth the effort. That is not just attachment, that is trust mixed with gratitude. By staying present, they're saying, I may not know how to express it, but I trust you enough to not abandon me when I'm at my weakest. That kind of silent loyalty is their greatest form of appreciation. So when you see an avoidant trusting you, whether through vulnerability, dependence, or consistency, understand that it is their way of saying thank you. They are grateful for the safety you provide, grateful for your patience, and grateful that you see them beyond their walls. For them, trust is not casual, it is sacred. And if they give it to you, it means you are the person they silently cherish the most. Vulnerability is something an avoidant runs from because for them, opening up feels like losing control. They have learned, often from early experiences, that being too exposed leads to disappointment, rejection, or pain. That's why they build emotional walls so high that very few people ever get close enough to see what's really behind them. But when an avoidant begins to show even small glimpses of their vulnerability to you, it is not just a random act. It is a signal of deep trust and, more importantly, silent gratitude. They are grateful for the emotional space you've created, a space where they can finally lower the mask and allow their real self to be seen without fear of judgment. Vulnerability for an avoidant is never casual. It is sacred, and it is their way of saying, I feel safe with you. I appreciate that safety. This vulnerability may not come in the form of long emotional speeches. In fact, it's often subtle and easy to miss. Maybe they share a story about their past they've never told anyone before. Maybe they admit to a fear, a failure, or a weakness they usually hide. Maybe they let you see their raw emotions during moments of stress, sadness, or even joy. For someone who is conditioned to always keep their guard up, these little cracks are monumental. They are not showing you weakness, they are showing you trust. And within that trust lies gratitude. Gratitude that you are someone who doesn't weaponize their honesty, gratitude that you respect their pace, and gratitude that you don't force them to open up faster than they can handle. When an avoidant becomes vulnerable, it also shows in how they let you care for them. Avoidants pride themselves on independence, often insisting they don't need help or support from anyone. But if they start allowing you to comfort them, listen to them, or simply be there in their low moments, it means they are silently thankful for your presence. They may not say thank you for being here when I need you, but their willingness to lean on you is their quiet way of expressing it. To an avoidant, depending on someone feels risky. So if they let you in during vulnerable moments, it's because they see you as someone safe enough to hold their hidden truths. What makes this vulnerability even more significant is its rarity. Most people in an avoidance life never get to see it. They might see the confident exterior, the independence, and the emotional distance, but only a select few witness the softness underneath. If you are one of those few, it means you are special. It means they silently appreciate you in ways words cannot capture. That vulnerability is not just about them, it's about you, about the kind of energy you bring into their world that makes it possible. So when you notice an avoidant sharing pieces of themselves, don't dismiss it as small. It is their loudest unspoken thank you. It is proof that your patience, your understanding, and your presence have created a rare sanctuary in their life. And for that, even if they never say the words, they are deeply grateful. Consistency is one of the clearest ways an avoidant shows silent gratitude because it goes directly against their natural instinct to pull away when emotions get heavy. By nature, avoidants crave space and independence. They withdraw as a way to protect themselves from what they perceive as emotional danger. But when you notice them consistently showing up, staying in touch, or making sure you still feel their presence even in quiet ways, it is not accidental. That is their unspoken way of saying, I value you enough to fight my own fears. It might not look like the consistency you're used to with others, but for an avoidant, every repeated effort is a profound sign of appreciation. They are grateful for the fact that you've given them patience and understanding, and their silent consistency is the repayment for that gift. This consistency could look like regular check-ins, even if short. For someone who often ignores messages or delays responses, the choice to be more present is an expression of gratitude. It's not about the length of the conversation, but about the effort to keep the connection alive. An avoidant knows they are difficult to read, and while they may never admit it openly, when they consistently engage with you, it's their way of saying, I don't want to lose the space we've built together. That simple act of showing up is gratitude in motion. Another form of consistency is reliability during important moments. Avoidants often shy away from responsibility in relationships because accountability feels like a trap. But if you notice them being there when it truly matters, supporting you during challenges, showing up when you least expect, or keeping promises, that's their unspoken thank you. They may not be vocal about appreciation, but their actions tell a story. They respect your role in their life and are thankful enough to stand by you even when this stretches their comfort zone. For them, this is not just about being dependable, it's about honoring the bond you share. Consistency also shows in how they stop running away. Typically, avoidants disappear when conflict arises or when emotions feel overwhelming. But if you see them staying during disagreements, choosing to resolve instead of vanish, it means they have grown enough trust in you to believe that staying is safer than leaving. That choice is gratitude. It's their way of acknowledging that you've proven yourself different from the people who once made them feel unsafe. They are silently saying, thank you for giving me a reason to stop running. What makes this consistency even more meaningful is that it's rare. Avoidants do not give steady energy to just anyone. They reserve it for the people they truly value, the ones who have shown patience and understanding. If you are on the receiving end of their consistency, it's because they feel deeply grateful for you. Every time they stay present, every time they resist the urge to retreat, every time they maintain the bond, it is their silent but powerful thank you. And though it may not sound like much, for an avoidant, consistency is the ultimate language of gratitude and the most genuine proof that you matter to them.